Gammacide, welcome to 69 Face of Rock. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing great. Thanks for having us.
Yep, good to see you, Mark.
Excellent.
Very cool.
Introduce yourself and tell me what you do in the band.
I'm Scott Shelby and I play guitar.
I'm Rick Perry. I also play guitar.
Excellent. You reformed the band in 2024, right? Why did you think now was a good time to come back as Gammacide?
Well, we really had no intention of doing this. We all have other bands that we've been doing. Scott has a band called Beast of War, which is thrash metal. I have a band called Iron Jaw, which is old school metal, like in the Priest style. And we've been busy doing other projects, but the organizers of the Hell's Heroes Festival in Houston had contacted us and they wanted Gammacide to play the festival. And I went to the festival last year, and
2024 you went.
Yeah, and it was such an awesome experience. I said, man, we have to do this if we can. And so Scott,
the promoter approached us, and we made some calls and got the band back together, you know, as the old saying goes, and really prepped. We hadn't played Gammacide
in a while.
I hadn't played a Gammacide song in so long.
So we had to kind of blow off. We have to get the rust shaken off,
you know. We really went to the gym and prepared for Hell's Heroes, and we came out with all guns blazing and did a couple of local shows around Fort Worth and Dallas as well that were all power-packed and this tremendous performance, and the reaction we got from the crowd was pretty stunning for us. And the age group, the new 20-year-olds that were like singing lyrics and yelling out songs we know and then some of the obscure songs, it was just you know, very eye-opening.
We were blown away. We wanted to get together and do the show, and we thought, well, if it goes good, you know, we might do something else after that. But I mean, like Scott said, there was kids from there was a guy from Tokyo that came to see Gammacide. There was people from California, from all over the United States, Germany. Canada, you know, they had come and they told us they came specifically to see us. So, you know, that was amazing.
We're like, wow, people still care, and the new generation, the 20-year-old genre is just into the old school thrash like we are, like Gammacide is, and it's like, you know, we can't rely on old friends to come to gigs. They may make one, but you know.
So it was strictly coincidental in a way.
It was.
It was. But you know, Scott and I have always remained friends the whole time. You know, Varnum, he lives in Louisiana, so we hadn't had as much contact with him, but we still kept in touch. And you know, it really, once we got together, it was just a few rehearsals, and you know, it started sounding good again, and you know, we're having a lot of fun with it. And so we got the chance to do this tour. Or is that your next question?
No, keep going.
We got a chance to do this tour, and since we knew that there was people in other parts of the country that were into it and still remembered us, we wanted to go out and play, you know. So we never had a chance to tour. When Victims of Science first came out, we were on a small label, Wild Rags, and they couldn't hook us up with a booking agent or anything like that. So
we just played regional, like Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana. We did a small 2-week tour to California once, and the stops along the way, but that was pretty much it. So we're like reaching out to uncharted territories for this band.
Yep, and it's been amazing because in every city we went to, there's been people showing up that remember Gammacide, that you know, they're bringing their albums to sign some of the original Wild Rags, you know, copies, and they're wanting us to sign them and stuff. So very cool.
There's people our age and bringing old albums, and young kids bringing albums, and we always ask them when they come to buy merch, you know, how do you find out about us? What's your story? And
it's mostly through the internet. We got a whole new following, you know, like around the year 2000, I think. You know, I started getting emails and noticing write-ups on some of the blogs and podcasts and stuff, and people mentioning Gammacide. So,
well, they had their dad listened to Slayer and Creator,
they picked
followed
up on it that way. Yeah.
I see kids with Gammacide patches all the time, young kids. I'm thinking, how in the world do you know this band? You know, and everybody has a story.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and it's usually a good one too.
Yeah, it is.
You know, it's something that we kind of lucked out with, I think, because you know, the image that we developed back then in the old days, I think it still is cool today. You know, with the toxic waste and the gas mask and everything, it still is cool, and the name is cool, and I think it just you know, it's something that
it stands out for curiosity to check out.
Yeah.
It sticks out a little bit out of the bunch, I believe.
So this is your second reformation already, right? Is it fair to say that Gammacide is in your genes for good at this point?
Absolutely.
sure,
Absolutely.
Yeah, we reunited in 2005.
Yeah.
Whenever we put this, when we put the album out, because the album had never been on CD.
Yeah.
It was released originally on vinyl and cassette only, and then we put it out on CD in 2005, and we played some like a little Texas tour, but that was it. It was just short. And then after that, me and Scott ended up forming Warbeast with the singer Rigor Mortis, and so Gammacide was on the back burner, but you know, it just keeps popping up. I mean,
Yeah, we can't
It's
get
a
rid of
beast
it.
that refuses to go away.
Yeah.
It is. All the other bands we have really don't stand a chance with Gammacide.
You know,
it seems like, you know.
You know, even you know, like in Chernobyl when they had the nuclear meltdown, that was like, you know, 40 years ago. But if you go there, there's still radioactivity. It's still active.
Very much
So
so.
Gammacide.
Very much so. So it's Gammacide. You made out of the same toxic
Yes.
waste.
Right.
And
You
that
wear
album,
gloves and protection when you
You're right.
buy this.
I believe I got this version of the album to review it when I wrote for Pit magazine. I did like a reissue column.
Okay, I remember the Pit magazine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was a good mag.
So I got this. And
That
I'm
was
like,
based in Colorado, I think.
yeah, it was, and I'm like, wow, that's one of the bands I know and
remember
love.
that
So,
magazine too.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that can natural. Now, is this reunion only for live shows, or do you actually plan on possibly doing something like maybe writing a new song?
That's the next step, and right now we're just playing the old classic songs, but we've already started writing some new material.
We haven't had one person come up that doesn't ask, are you going to put out some new material?
Yeah.
And the young kids are super excited to hear it, so yes, it's our minds are already, gears are rolling and riffs are starting to flow, and that's what the next step is,
Yeah.
get some new material out.
So the current version of the band includes what, 3 original members?
Yes.
Yeah. So how would you describe the bond that you guys share?
Well, I mean, whenever you, well,
Really, the current lineup is the same that when we did the reunion back in 2005, and we thought about trying to keep Gammacide
So there is
going.
longevity.
It's what?
There is longevity when it comes
Yes,
to lineup.
and
Yeah.
the same lineup became Warbeast because we couldn't. Gammacide just wasn't going to, you know, happen at the time, and so it's the same.
we had
It's all family.
We had people in other states, so it was too hard. So we just
So the drummer Joey Gonzalez and Alan Bove, that they're playing in Gammacide, which they were in Warbeast too. So we've had this camaraderie for quite a while already, and then so yeah,
Well, one thing I will say is that, and people notice this whenever they see us play, is because they notice that there's an interaction between me and him when we play guitar, because, and they say that can only come from two people who played together for years and years and years. So we always like to think that we are following in the footsteps of the great guitar teams like Tipton and Downing and King and Hanneman and things like that. And so, and we a long time ago said, you know, instead of trying to be virtuoso guitar players, let's just be the heaviest, tightest team ever and focus on devastating riffs. And that's what we've always done. And we love to trade solos. And so it's just a second sense, you know, when he plays a lead, then I back him up, and then whenever I play a lead, he backs me up, and sometimes we do them together or whatever. So that's one thing that comes from playing together for a long time, and it's cool, you know. And I don't see a lot of younger bands doing it as much. Usually there's one strong guitar player and the other guy's playing rhythm, but we like to switch it up, and I think it makes it more exciting, you know, for the audience. You'll see tonight.
Plus our drummer, he was Warby Stoney drummer, and that band had like a 15 or 18 year career, and so him fitting in with this group really easily gelled, you know. He's a powerhouse.
Fantastic.
And Varnum has really outdone himself, and when he came back to join us for the Hell's Heroes reunion, he blew all our stuff, blew us all away, because we've been working at it, trying to get
3 months in the woodshed, and he walks in one day, one practice,
and
he blows us all away.
Yeah, he's better than ever.
Victims of Science came out in 1989, more than 30 years ago. How do you think this album aged?
It's aged very well, like a fine wine, I believe. Better than wine.
Yeah. Well, it's aged like toxic waste, you know.
It's still toxic.
It's still dangerous, you know.
It doesn't go away.
Yeah. I think that you know, what I always say is that, you know, when we started, you know, the record labels were either in California or New York, and they ignored us in Texas. You know, we were like kind of, you know, they thought we were all hicks down here. I don't know. They just didn't pay attention to us because we were from Texas, and we just decided to get noticed was by being as heavy, fast, and intense as possible. And so our album has no acoustic intros, no slow parts. It's just balls to the wall from the beginning to the end. And I think that's what separates Victims of Science. And because when people get a hold of that, you know, especially these kids nowadays, it's like, this is the raw, uncut, underground thrash. You know, it's not, there's no goofy cover song or anything like that. It's just raw from start to finish.
And also, like, the record grew into a myth over the years, right? It appears that it's more highly regarded now than when it was initially released.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it definitely got a little bit lost in the shuffle when it came out, because it was on a very small label. There was a lot of thrash bands putting out records at that time, and, you know,
death metal and grunge metal were on the rise.
That's right, 89, yeah.
And so
it just kind of got washed away a little bit, maybe overlooked. And now, like I said, with the advent of the internet, and people are going back and taking a look at it and going, God damn, this thing is fucking heavy.
Yeah.
You know, and so, you know, the energy of it,
and the quality sound,
it comes across. We wrote, I think we wrote good songs, you know. I think, you know, even though it's, you know, intense and balls to the wall, I still think that there's songs in there, hooks, catchy parts, you know, that the audience can pick
grab
up
onto.
Yeah.
Do you have any regrets when it comes to not touring when the album came out? Because, I mean, you had a great record on your hand, but for some reason the exposure maybe wasn't there.
I don't really have any regrets.
No, it's just the way the cookie crumbled at the time, and you know, things
Pause
didn't,
it for a second.
No,
things didn't quite you know, get rolling like we wanted, and you know, we did our thing, and then
I think
then we all
think
kind of
that,
separated, went lost interest, and we went different ways and formed different bands. But there's no regrets at all.
I think that Gammacide maybe achieved that mythic status because it was obscure. You know, if it was, you know, readily available, I don't know if it would have still had the same impact, you know, years later. But because it was kind of like just like I was telling you earlier, in the old days in the underground, if you had a demo of a band that no one else heard, you know, and you check this shit out, you know, and then your friends would be going, wow.
Yeah,
you know?
that was the golden thing, is to have something nobody's heard before.
Right, and I think maybe by having Gammacide be a little more obscure and a little harder to find, I think it kind of makes it a little more of a
special treat.
Yeah, an underground, a rare underground gem.
Yes.
Now that you are touring outside of Texas, what are you noticing?
Mainly just the kids, the young kids into it, you know, and them hearing their stories, how they found out about it, and their knowledge of it is really mind blowing. You know, they're yelling out lyrics that I don't even know in the band, and they're yelling out some of the obscure songs on here that aren't on the album, and it means they really studied it, you know, and I think that's what stands out the most for me.
What stands out the most to me is that no matter where you go, and even though it's like 30 years later, it's almost like the same thing. The scene hasn't, even though this is a new generation of kids, and maybe they're copying the style of the way thrashers dressed in the 80s or something like that, but I can't tell the difference. It seems like they're just kids that are into it. We played Brooklyn the other night, and kids were, from the very first note, it was explosive. They were stage diving, rolling all over the stage. I mean, it was chaos right from the very beginning.
I've also noticed, you know, every night we played, everybody enjoyed the show. Like whatever club or venue we're at, the owners came up, the bartenders say, man, they're shaking our hands, and they're just like, you know, everybody seems to be into it, you know.
This tour has really been it was kind of a gamble in a way. It was kind of a risk. I mean, we didn't know, we thought, well, we could be driving all the way across the country
and people show up
and have three people show up and be embarrassed and humiliated and lose a bunch of money. But it's turned out that there's been people in every city, except for there was one town that had kind of a shitty turnout, but every other one has been great. And we're playing smaller venues, but that's cool. It's full of people,
intimate,
and they're into it. And it's been a great experience, I think.
Absolutely.
I think we all feel the same way, probably.
Yeah.
Now, in 2016, you did a box set of all of your recordings called Contamination Complete. Can you tell me about this, and is it still even available?
We didn't do that. That was an Italian label called FOAD.
Okay.
And they had actually contacted Scott.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, and they wanted to do a box set, which they kind of specialize in that thing, and Rick and I went to work and put all the details together, the booklet and pictures and everything, and they did an extra fine job on the box set. It's like,
and it is sold out, as far as I know.
Was it only vinyl? Was it CD? What was
No,
it?
they only did, I think they did 500 vinyls. I think it was like 300 of the black and 200 of the green or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was all vinyl and had DVD of some old gigs from
But yeah, it's gone, so you got to go on eBay or something, or Discogs if you want one.
Now with this newfound popularity, do you plan on putting something out for people to?
Well, we'd probably have to, I mean, Victims of Science has been licensed to different labels over the years. We'll probably have to just do it ourselves so we can just keep it up and keep it going. And then, of course, but, you know, who knows? We're going to try to see if maybe we can find a label that's interested in putting on our new one. And we'll see from there.
Next year, it'll be 40 years since you first came onto the scene.
Yeah.
When you look back and reflect, what comes to mind?
Wow.
That's amazing. You know, I never thought that whenever we were starting, I mean, there was no thrashers that were over 30 years old, and now we're almost senior citizens. So to be playing thrash metal is kind of weird, but we're not the only ones. I mean, you know, Sodom, they're old. Destruction, those guys are probably around the same age.
Everybody.
They're all the same age. So now it's just, you know, it was, when we started, it would be, you would never imagine that there would have been grandpas, you know, playing this kind of music. But here we are.
Here we are.
And also, what, 39 years ago, you did this cassette. You want to show it and maybe tell a few things about this? Your first demo, right?
Yeah, this is the first demo. This is when we first started, and I mean,
not a reprint, original.
yeah. You've hung on to it for a long time. Yeah, we did this at Pantego Studios, which was owned by Jerry Abbott, father of Daryl and Vince Abbott, you know, from Pantera, and they had done their early recordings at that same studio with Jerry Abbott producing. So he produced this for us, and that's the one that kind of got it started for us. We sent this out to a bunch of magazines, and that's what got, you know, our name out in the underground. So you're the second or third person who's brought one of these to the show, so that's very cool. It's pretty rare.
Yeah.
Rare.
Now, you obviously did other bands outside of Gammacide. Care to introduce those bands and projects that you were involved with over the years?
After Gammacide, I had an industrial band called Puncture. We put out 2 CDs, and I did with them. We did a tour with Guar, and then after that, I was hooked up with Scott, and he and I did. It was first called Tex Metal Alliance, then we ended up. Then it was War Beast, which I only stuck around for the first album of that. Then they went on and did a couple more albums. Very successful band, did a lot of touring. They went to Europe and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. My current band right now, besides Gammacide, is Iron Jaw. It's like I said, it's an old school Priest style, Judas Priest Motorhead type band, I guess. Regular metal, heavy metal. And what are you doing?
Well, after Gammacide split up, I went and played with the Hammerwitch for a little bit, and then we formed a band, Null and Void. Me and Wayne, this is a short stint, and then I went on hiatus, I believe, till we formed TMA, and which formed into War Beast, yeah. And then and I stuck around with that and did, you know, multiple records and toured, like I said, for 15, 18 years, something. And then when Bruce died, that kind of, I took another hiatus, and
that brings us back to now.
And then I retired from work, and I said, you know, I'm going to start playing my music again. And so I was going to reform War Beast under a similar name, Beast of War, and that's what got the attraction, or got my name back out on the media. And that's when Christian approached me about Hell's Heroes, and so I made some calls. We got Gammacide back together, and I've been playing with Rotting Corpse too, but pretty much Gammacide has taken the forefront of everything. So,
but basically, it's for both of us. It's heavy metal, 24 hours a day. Anyway, I mean, there's always the metal never stops.
Yeah.
Full cycle.
Yeah,
Full
right.
cycle. Finally, where do we go from here?
Well, that's yet to see, but you know, we want to do a new record, and we want to play some big festivals and continue on while we can.
Yeah, I think we met so many people on this tour that said, I saw you guys at Hell's Heroes. So playing those festivals really, I mean, if we played a few more of those things, you know, we are coming back to next year. We're booked for the. It's called
Armageddon or something.
Rage of Armageddon in Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn, yeah, I went to one.
We're going to do that one with At War. At War's playing that, and so that'll be a cool show. But we want to do some more, and so we're trying to like.
I mean, once we've started, you know, playing this year, it really hasn't stopped. I mean, we
Yep.
you know, there really hasn't been much time off from doing gigs at all, because something keeps popping up, you know. So.
There's
As it should.
there's
I mean, it's good reaction.
There's no
from the
master.
people.
There's no master plan written on paper or anything like that. But it's just whatever comes next, and let's just take each challenge, and every step leads to the next step, and you just keep going.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what you can't. What's what a band wants. You know.
We're at the, you know, playing underground thrash. You're not going to become a millionaire.
No.
You know, we do it because we love it, and it's rewarding to have, you know, the kids that, you know, come up and go crazy at the shows, and you know, and we've signed all these autographs and stuff on this tour. It's very fulfilling in that way. It makes you feel good, you know.
It's rewarding.
Yeah, it's rewarding in that way, and that's what we're getting out of it, and so we see no reason to stop.
Thank you.
Yep.
You're welcome. Thank you.